About 48 hours, said she saw a toddler out of that breaking news we told you about just a couple of minutes ago. That missing Alabama woman who came back home, Carlee Russel. Turns out her lawyer says she was never kidnapped and she never saw any toddler on the side of the highway. Blaine Alexander joins us now. And Blaine, this puts to rest, I think, a mystery that we've been talking about for something like a week after the alleged kidnapping of Carlee Russel. She was missing for about 48 hours, said she saw a toddler on the highway, told police she'd been abducted. Turns out it was all made up. Is that what happened?
That sounds like that's exactly what happened, Hallie. This really is a stunning ending to a case that in so many ways has captivated this country. So not too long ago, police there in Hoover, Alabama, gave an update. They read a statement from an attorney on behalf of Carlee Russel and essentially said point blank, there was no kidnapping. I want to read you a couple of the top lines from this. There was no kidnapping. She says she never saw a baby on the side of the road. She didn't leave the Hoover area. She says she did not have any help in this incident. I think that's something that's important to point out, that this was a single act done alone by herself. She says in the statement that my client was not at a hotel with anyone from the time she was missing, that Carlee apologizes to everyone in the community who searched for her, and then kind of ending by asking for prayers. We ask for your prayers as Carlee addresses these issues, her issues, and attempts to move forward, understanding that she made a mistake in all of this. So, Hallie, we kind of saw that this could be coming when the police put out their press conference last week, pointing out inconsistency after inconsistency in her story and a number of things that pointed to no kidnapping. But today she's speaking out through an attorney. Now, there are still a number of questions, a chief among them. Where was she during this 49-hour period during which she was missing? We know that that's something that police say they're going to be looking into as well.
Could criminal charges be coming? Was there any allusion to that?
That's a possibility. Police said that everything's on the table. They were asked whether the parents were being investigated. And you'll remember that her parents really gave a strong, compelling interview to our Priscilla Thompson, in which they said after she returned home that they fully believed that she was fighting for her life. So, but police say that despite that statement, they're still going to be looking into every possibility and that nothing's off the table, Hallie.
A Jacksonville Jaguars coach publicly came out.
Welcome, everyone. Okay. Paula W., get your fucking racist undertone ass out of here, please. Somebody get her the fuck out of here. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, we don't do that here. This is not a race thing, okay? I'm not going to let anybody in here make this a race thing. This is about a misinformation thing. And I'm not going to let you add to that misinformation by throwing things like race in the mix. Has nothing to do with anything. So please take that shit down the road. God, that's so annoying. Like, this is where we're at now? Really? This is where we're at? Sorry, guys. I got news of this presser that's about to happen like 15 minutes ago. So I just rushed into my little studio here and we're going to wait for this presser to start from my man JB. WFLA News. So, sorry, I'm drinking my coffee. I'm waking up. I was with you guys pretty late last night, so I'm sure you can understand. So, those of you who were here last night, real quick before I start giving a little bit of updates on what's going on here, I'm going to read an article in a minute, but I want to take a second to thank you guys who were here last night and how awesome you guys are. Like, again, those of you who were not here last night, I want to tell you guys how awesome you are because you may not have heard it. So you guys are amazing, fantastic. I'm absolutely super grateful to have you guys and this community. And it's really a blessing, truly. So thank you guys. Now, I don't know how long this live is going to be. What I'll probably do is open the phone lines and get your all's thoughts on this situation. So, well, you left, Cherry, and I said nice things about you, whether they're undeserved or not. So, whatever. Anyway, so let me go ahead and pull this article up real quick. So Alabama police will announce Alabama police will announce an update in the case of Carlee Russel this afternoon and are likely to be charges. Russel, 25, faked her own abduction earlier this month, claiming to have been snatched from the interstate after stopping to help an abandoned child. She admitted that it was all a lie after returning home with a far-fetched story and zero proof of it. Hoover Police Department will this afternoon hold a press conference to announce an update. Russel's attorney said previously that he expects her to be charged over the hoax. She may now also have to pay upwards of $100,000 for sparking a multi-agency search into her faked kidnapping. The 26-year-old nursing student went missing on July 13th around 9:30 p.m., baffling investigators as she appeared to vanish while on a 911 call reporting a toddler by the side of an Alabama highway. The frantic 3-day search for her may have even seen law enforcement pulled off other important investigations to join the manhunt, according to former FBI agent Jonathan Gilliam. And after the hoax, abduction infuriated cops for wasting their time and resources. Rightfully so. Gilliam told Fox News that Russel may be ordered to foot the bill. Gilliam said, you're looking at dozens of man hours, plus the fact that somebody could get wrongly convicted or killed, he said. The cost and safety of it adds up very quickly. Police are yet to reveal a motive for Russel's faked kidnapping, and the 26-year-old offered little information when she admitted to making the whole story up Monday. In a statement released through her attorney, Russel confessed that there's no kidnapping, adding that she was asking for your forgiveness and prayers. She branded the hoax a mistake and attempted to apologize to the law enforcement agencies and volunteers who wasted their time searching. But the apology is likely to do little to ease frustrations, with officials indicating Thursday that they may seek 2 charges against her for false reporting to law enforcement authorities and falsely reporting an incident. The misdemeanor charges could potentially land her behind bars for up to a year, and Gilliam said any fine would likely depend on her income. Gilliam said if she works at some kind of massage therapy place, she's not making enough money to pay all that stuff back, so she may get a fine, but it won't be enough to pay back the man hours that were used, he said. Russel's 3-day disappearance baffled officials, with the faker turning up at her parents' home in a bad state, spouting an extravagant story of being abducted by a man with orange hair. So Archie kidnapped her. Okay. The 26-year-old said the suspect appeared from the trees on the side of I-459 after she saw a baby boy in a diaper walking along the road. She stopped cooperating with police soon after telling police the tall tale, with Hoover Police Chief Nick Derzis saying cops have been unable to confirm any details from her story and wish to speak with her to clarify. With officials insistent that she sit down for a second interview, the scheduled meeting was halted after the statement was read to the public instead. Russel's family are not believed to have known about her plot, but investigators have found suspicious search history that suggests the hoax was premeditated. She had searched, this is fun, guys. She had researched the Liam Neeson movie Taken, which is about an abduction, and she allegedly Googled whether she was too old for an Amber Alert. She had also searched for a one-way ticket to Nashville. Her boyfriend, Tomar Simmons, had initially been among these frantically searching for her and expressed his relief when she turned up. But after her press conference, he erased all trace of her on social media. He said he is disgusted by her actions and broke up with her soon after. Simmons has since asked the public to stop bullying her as the public humiliation stretches on. Now, this is Tomar's statement that he posted on Instagram. Says, Carlee's actions created hurt, confusion, and dishonesty. I was made aware of the false narrative after coming to the defense of my ex, Carlee Russel. Myself and my family's nature was to react in love and genuine concern. We are disgusted from the outcome of this entire situation. I strongly feel exactly like you all. Blindsided with Carlee's actions, this is still an ongoing investigation, but with all the recent information and her confession, now we gain closure with this situation. Thank you to all my family, friends, and the nation for support through this. I want to also send my prayers and thanks to Miss Angela Haley, Harris, her team, and all of the volunteers. Thank you again for your unwavering support. The severity in this matter has not been overlooked, and I deeply respect the genuine support shared during the situation. Please continue to keep us in your prayers. With love, Tamar. And I would go over the other press conference, but this should be starting any minute. Give me a second here. So we're just going to wait for this to start. Man, I mean, dude, this is just plain gross. You know, personally, I'm disgusted by this because it's as if, I mean, I don't know what her motive for this is. This is why I'm so confused. Like, Cherry is convinced that it's all about attention. And so far, the evidence dictates that there's no reason to that Cherry would be wrong about this. You know? So, you know, I mean, but to go that far with it, what did she think was going to happen? What did she think the positive outcome of this would be? And I'm glad her boyfriend dumped her. I'm glad dude's got some standards, man. You know, I'm glad this dude's got some standards. I mean, I would put up a poll in the chat about, you know, what the motive was, but I can't think of one other than attention. So I don't know what other options to put up. You know what I mean? Purple Haze, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Yeah. Callie, let's be careful with that. We don't want to start throwing around the word hysterical, as we learned last night, what that actually means. We don't I know that's not the word you use, but what you're describing here, the word for that is hysterical, and it's a pretty demeaning term. So I don't think it really has anything to do with her being female, honestly. But you know, and the thing is, you know, she doesn't get a pass from jokes. The more this goes on, like, the more I'm gonna try to have a sense of humor about it, because at least she's okay. Nobody was physically harmed. in any way, which is great. But you know, I'm pissed because of what this former law enforcement agency agent said, and you know, it's infuriating because it's as if she knew there's this entire subculture of people who really care truly about missing people, who are really passionate about this subject of missing people. And it seemed as though she wanted to somehow use the that she wanted to somehow use the I guess, for lack of a better term, the population, well, let's say buzz. She wanted to use the buzz on human trafficking that's going around right now to get some sort of attention, maybe. I just don't know. I don't understand. y'all don't judge Limey, man. He's in England right now, and it's later, and it's Friday. So. All right, here we go, guys. There's my man JB. Y'all throw up some thumbs up for JB, man. That's my dude right there. Look at him looking all cool, man. JB's ready to go. And here's the link to this, like, real quick, you know, let me do this real quick. All right, so here's the link to WFLA's, what I'm streaming right now. Make sure to go in there and give it a like real quick. Give JB a like in there real quick. Hit that link and give JB a like. I did not see that 4x4 Explorers. Thank you, by the way. But I did not see that. That's crazy. We'll look into that probably after this.
WFLA Now will begin momentarily.
Popped, right, Charlie?
Oh, you popped. You're gonna be famous.
Wait, here it is. Here it is.
Stop. This is on WFLA Now. Here is JB Buno.
Carlee Russel, after admitting to lying about her kidnapping and seeing a toddler on the side of I-459, expected to face charges in Alabama. A press conference called this afternoon by authorities who will announce specifics on the legal process going forward. Hello there to you folks. JB here with you live in the Stream Center, awaiting the feeds coming up here on my touchscreen and just keeping an eye here on the monitor, actually on the other side of the Stream Center, just keeping an eye on when exactly we get the podium shot for the press conference that has been called for 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central. We're going to spend a good amount of time taking your comments because by now, if you're here on this live stream now, especially in the YouTube live comment section, hello, YouTube. If you've been with us here on YouTube waiting for this live stream to begin, chances are you're very familiar with the Carlee Russel story. In the last couple of weeks, of course, that story becoming national and really international news as well. A woman who pulled off on the side of the road, called 911, claiming to see a toddler vanishing for a period of 49 hours in central Alabama, reappears at her parents' house that Saturday night, and then days later admits that there was never a kidnapping or an abduction, as she had told police initially in her initial statement, and also too that there was never a toddler on the side of Interstate 459 in Hoover, Alabama. It was all a made-up story. As to why exactly it was made up, that really remains the question. But as people know, breaking the law is breaking the law. So if the law was broken in Alabama, you would expect charges to be filed. And that is, of course, what has been playing, going on behind the scenes with the district attorney there in central Alabama, with authorities determining what is the appropriate course of action in regards to Carlee Russel. So here in the Stream Center, waiting for the feeds to actually become available. What happens over the course of the coming really 15, 20 minutes is camera crews will be permitted inside the building where this press conference will be taking place.
I see what you did there, Amy.
They'll turn on their cameras. They'll distribute.
Breaking the law.
Here on my touch screen, we tap it. And then, of course, we're live to bring you that press conference in high definition, live across all platforms. So saying hello to our audience joining us. And what I'd like to do is, because as I noted at the beginning of this live stream, if you're here now in our comment section, chances are
Tony,
very
thank you so
with
much
the
for the Cash App.
And you might have
appreciate
been
that.
one of the people who shared out news of Carlee Russel's disappearance, hoping that it would be a happy ending and not a controversial one. But here we have the controversy with this story. And what I'd like to do is we're going to do a poll question. And
you suck.
And the poll is going to be simple. If charges are to be filed against Carlee Russel, do you agree with the decision? It's that simple.
Now here's
by now I'm sure
here's the link if you
want
to vote on that poll.
Are just very up to speed on this story and educated enough to have an opinion on this matter. So we're going to ask that exclusively on YouTube Live in the WFLA YouTube Live comment section. You should see that poll animate on your screen. And what I'll do is I'll start to look out for your hashtag HeyJB questions and comments. If it's your first time on stream, welcome. Welcome into WFLA Now. What we're going to do is just quickly explain how it works. If you don't want your comment to be spotlighted and featured on screen, that's totally okay. You're welcome here. We just ask that you don't use our hashtag system. You see underneath my name here on the left side of your screen, it says hashtag HeyJB. And you'll see it here in the bug as well, hashtag HeyJB. If you use that hashtag, you're basically saying, hey, JB, please feature my comment. It'll have your name, your profile picture animated on screen. But again, if you don't want your comment to be featured, just don't use the hashtag. You can continue to comment back and forth with your fellow audience members. So let's, for the first time, look in and this is very interesting. And I think this poll could have been more specific, I'm sure. But Sarah says hashtag HeyJB. I voted no because it depends on what the charges are. This is a very, very smart response here from Sarah, because are they going to be misdemeanor charges? Are there any felony charges that could be possible? Fox News reported, and talking to the assistant DA, and I'll read this from Fox News, their website. It says that according to Jefferson County Chief Assistant District Attorney Lane Tolbert, police are seeking to charge Russel with false reporting to law enforcement authorities and falsely reporting an incident, both of which are misdemeanors and carry a maximum punishment of 1 year in jail. I don't like too often putting out polls that at this stage in the story especially, there's a legal process that has to play out here. You are innocent until you're proven guilty. And should Carlee Russel face charges, we don't know if she's going to, what plea she would enter, if she would plead guilty, try to, come to a deal with the district attorney's office, or whether or not a deal would be offered, or if she would plead not guilty for, there's a couple of different reasons why she would plead not guilty. But that, of course, would lead to her day in court. So back to Sarah's comment, It really does depend on what the charges are. But for what it's worth, we put it out there. Just if she is to be charged, um, regardless of what the charges are, do you agree with the decision to proceed with charges? The idea here is if she, in fact, and again, based on her statement that she provided to authorities in the press conference that we carried earlier this week, if she did have this elaborate plan to make this up for whatever reason, was it to receive attention, social media fame? What the reason could have been still eludes us, or what the reason is still eludes us. But if she did come up with this elaborate plan, do you believe if she broke the law, should she face charges? I mean, that's really what this question mostly boils down to. And it's going to be hard to find too many people in our comment section who are going to say, yeah, she broke the law, but I think that we should, cut her some slack. Or people, I think, mostly agree. I'm speaking for you, our commenters. People mostly agree that the law applies to everybody. And now we have talked about whether or not there's a mental health component to this case. That has sparked an emotional reaction for people in our comment section. People saying, look, she might have had a sudden mental health breakdown, or other commenters have said mental health can't be a scapegoat when the law is inconveniently not in your favor. So that the mental health component to this case is emotional for a lot of people and does prompt a response one way or the other, usually from a lot of people in my coverage of the story and reading through thousands of comments. But that's where we are with this particular story. What are the charges going to be, and how are things going to proceed going forward? She has not been arrested as of this hour, just a heads up. And also, too, really quickly, I made a lot of calls on this story yesterday.
Brutal.
And as I was making calls, the expectation was this press conference was going to be taking place Thursday, July 27th. But there was a jurisdictional matter that needed to get cleared up. That's something I can confidently report. It was a jurisdictional matter that had to get cleared up, which is the reason why it didn't get held yesterday as originally intended, and why this press conference is being held this Friday, July 28th, 2023. So that jurisdictional matter, I've heard a couple of things. I don't want to get much into specifics. It'll be so on, water under the bridge really in an hour from now. But yes, that was the reason why the press conference was not held yesterday.
Are you taking the piss?
All right, reading through some of your comments. Let me quickly remind our
muggy
audience
little
to spotlight some more comments on screen. We are now 15 minutes away, 15 minutes from that press conference getting underway in Jefferson County, Alabama. Again, the press conference where we're expected to hear from authorities on the charges that are filed. That is, again, according to reports and also to a lot of phone calls that I've been making. Charges are expected at this press conference. What those charges are, look, we had the Fox News report. We read that out. Again, 2 misdemeanor charges potentially on the table that could lead to a maximum punishment of a year in prison.
That's a great point, Tracy. They will need to make an example of her to quell the copycats.
All right, reading through some of your comments.
Yeah, totally.
Jeff,
they can't let
I think
this
a lot of
slide.
people feel the same way as Jeff. #KJB. What is the purpose of having laws if they're not enforced? If there are laws that were broken and the person admits that they are at fault, isn't the expectation that there is going to be charges filed? If you do not proceed with charges, you are opening up a massive can of worms, are you not, for copycat behavior in other cities, other states across the country?
Have you guys gone
Carlee
over
Russell
there?
got away with it. What makes me any different? Could be the line of thinking for somebody else.
Have you guys gone over there and given JB a like? Do that
Taylor
real
wants
quick.
to know, can the parents be charged with anything? The parents can be charged if they are found to have committed a crime. But if you go back to the most recent press conference earlier this week, again, talking about the parents, they do not find, as of this, at that stage in the investigation, it did not seem as if they planned on pursuing the parents based on where the investigation stood at that time. So this is expected to be focused on Carlee Russel.
Jackie Garnett, yeah, hang out here,
Let's
but
see here, we're gonna have to relaunch.
Click on the
Facebook
link
Live
and
here
give that video
momentarily.
a like. Is all I'm saying. Just give him a like. Is all I'm saying. You can
I just wanna
watch
send
it
a
over
note
here. That's great.
here to our team.
But I'm streaming him, so and he's saying good stuff. So give JB a like, man.
About where the camera crews might be getting let into the building where this press conference is going to be taking place a little bit late, because usually by now, 15 minutes or now 12 minutes out, usually by now we have a feed. We have multiple avenues to get this feed. Different camera crews that have indicated that they will be feeding back a signal, and we will be able to access those feeds here in the stream center. But at this time, no feeds have been fired up just yet. So if you're looking for that podium shot, you're looking for where this press conference is going to be taking place, don't go anywhere. We'll have it in the coming minutes. I keep looking this way to check for those feeds here again in the WFLA Now Stream Center.
Totally. She should have just shut the fuck up, Caleb.
All right, some other comments. You can see they're scrolling on my screen here.
I mean, lady.
Robin James.
When are
This is
people
really
gonna
a big
learn?
question that persists
You
in our
need
comments.
to shut the
Any
fuck
details on
up.
an accomplice? Let's point this out.
Exactly.
We still do not know where Carlee Russel went for 49 hours. Did she go to someone's house? Did she go to a local movie theater? Did she go to a local business and
For
just
49
find a
hours?
closet somewhere?
She went and
Was
watched
she
a
in
movie
the
for
woods?
49
All of
hours?
these different ideas as to where she could have been over those 49 hours. We just don't know. But people want to know, was there somebody who knowingly
Did she go to Chuck E.
took her
Cheese?
in while the search was ongoing? And did that person understand that there was this massive search underway? And did that person have anything to do with concealing where she might have been? Look, there has been zero details. I want to emphasize this. There's been zero information provided on if anybody else helped Carlee Russel.
See, that's why I like JB.
She said that she acted alone in her statement. Now, people are going to point to that statement and say, how do we believe somebody who
At least twice, Caleb.
lied on a 911 call and lied to police? How do we believe that? Well, I think that's a very fair point. But for what it's worth, FWIW is something I use.
Y'all
in
are
text
killing me
all
in
the
this
time.
chat right now.
FWIW. For what it's worth, Carlee says that she acted alone. But where she was for those 49 hours is a major question. All right. And just like that,
Game of
as
Thrones.
promised,
Y'all are the worst.
here we
bro.
have the very first shot coming up. We expect to get multiple press conference feeds. But really, it's all going to... Oh, and look. See? Now we'll hit the touchscreen again. I guess the camera crews were all let in at the same time. Because there we have the shot. And both are looking pretty crystal clear. Guys, take your pick. You like A or you like B? It won't really matter. We're going to be listening in for mic checks, but we're going to take the signal with the highest quality. It's something, of course, that is very important to you, our audience, to get a feed that is reliable and with a steady signal and is HD. And, of course, that's important to us as well for distribution purposes. But, yes, that is a current look at the podium as it's been set up. And we'll, as soon as they start doing mic checks, we will be listening in for those mic checks to make sure that audio is coming through crystal clear. In the meantime, let's go back to some of the questions and comments that are coming in. There are some really, unfortunately, look, I can't put up some of these comments. They have hashtag HAB, but they are, mean.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
chill out.
I know the people are angry and they're frustrated because they felt like they were deceived, and they feel like, can't blame anybody for feeling like this sets a very bad precedent as far as a woman who said that she was missing, said that she was abducted, kidnapped, if you will, said that she saw a toddler on the side of the road and then saying that she acted alone in misinforming authorities. I understand that people are very upset, very frustrated. Still, I can see it in your comments. Again, comments that are, I just can't put up on screen. But we will now see how the legal process will play out. And if Carlee Russel is, according to authorities, said to have committed a crime, then will they proceed with charges to hold her accountable? Let's remind our audience. We've covered a lot of stories, and there's a few big ones that we've covered here on stream, where just because you do the wrong thing doesn't mean you committed a crime. Doing the wrong thing and committing a crime, violating the law, they're different things. You can do something ethically that's really messed up and not break any laws, and not have to face legal consequences. So let's remember, but according to the assistant DA, and it's based on logic of the concept of filing a false police report, the concept is, and the belief is, that Carlee Russel broke at least one law in lying to investigators, lying to police about being kidnapped, and starting this massive 49-hour search for her in central Alabama and beyond. Folks, what we have to do now is we have to reset. We are currently live. Let's see how many people are joining us. We're live right now on WFLA.com, the WFLA app, WFLA.com, for north of 15,000 people. People filing in. What we will do is we are going to take a 60-second break to launch on Facebook Live and other platforms so that people continue to file in here. People can continue to file in here and join us for, again, the press conference that should be beginning in about 5 minutes time. If you're looking for the press conference, you found it. We're going to, of course, I'm going to be quiet. We're going to go to the full screen here as soon as it begins. And that starts next here on WFLA Now. Back in 60 seconds.
WFLA Now will begin momentarily.
Terrible person. All right. Hold on.
Popped, right, Charlie?
Oh, you popped. You're gonna be famous.
Wait, here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
Stop!
This is Ken.
I mean,
Here is JB Buno.
Carlee Russel, the woman who admitted to lying about her own kidnapping and lying about seeing a toddler on the side of I-459, expected to face charges today in Alabama. A press conference called this afternoon by authorities. That press conference is expected to begin any moment here on WFLA Now. Hello there, folks. JB here with you live. Now across all platforms here from the WFLA Now Stream Center. Let's hit the touchscreen. Let's take you out there to Alabama and show you the podium. This press conference has been called for 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central, and we'll, of course, be listening in. What we're going to do is we're going to continue to take some questions and comments out of our Facebook Live, YouTube Live comment sections, and then at 2 o'clock, when the press conference actually, in fact, begins, of course, I will be quiet. We will be listening in, hearing what the latest is on the Carlee Russel investigation. But per reports coming out of Alabama and beyond, charges are expected. If you believe the Fox News report, those charges are going to be 2 misdemeanor charges with a maximum penalty of 1 year.
was she Vanna White? What's she
bars.
doing?
So you can see various members of the media. They are getting ready for that press conference when it does in fact begin.
I'd like to buy a vowel.
Eastern, 1 o'clock Central, which is approximately 2.5 minutes from now. So here in the Stream Center, folks, what we'll be doing is reviewing some of your questions, some of your comments. We did have a question asked via a YouTube question that was put out. And we asked, if charges are to be filed against Carlee Russel, do you agree with the decision? We had Sarah who chimed in with a really smart sort of response saying that she voted no simply because she doesn't know what the charges are. It depends on what the charges are. But for what it's worth, again, an unscientific social media poll, more than 94% of people expect there to be charges filed here today. And so, again, there's the press conference. We have another feed, a backup feed, if you will, from another camera crew in the building. Of course, various members of the media that have all gathered here today for the Hoover Police press conference. I think we're expected to hear from the DAs. Let's listen in.
All good? All good. All right, 2-minute warning. 2 minutes.
All right, and there you hear.
Right, Charlie? Oh, Bob, you're gonna be Wait, here it is. Here it is. Stop!
This is warning. So again, JB here within the Stream Center, folks. The press conference will be starting here momentarily. After the... You can hear some chatter there with some of the reporters.
Thank you,
in the room who are, of course,
appreciate it.
I'm sure expecting charges themselves as far as this press conference. All signs are pointing to that as far as what Hoover Police and the DA's office will be sharing. So again, the press conference is about to begin in about, call it 60, 90 seconds now. After the press conference is done, what we will be doing is spending some time with you on stream and breaking down what we have learned and what we still don't know. We might get an investigative update on this case, whether or not a second statement has been provided, whether or not Carlee Russel has actually had that second interview with detectives. It might be more than charges, but we really don't know. We're about to find out.
All right, if you're just shuffling in here, go ahead and give JB a quick. I'm dropping a link in chat. Go ahead and give JB Mosey on over there. Give him a thumbs up. Give that video. Give this press conference a like, because we are streaming them and we really like JB. So just do JB a solid and give him a like real quick if you haven't already. I dropped the link in chat, and then come on back over here if you want.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Frank and Pam Bearfield Training Center. I'm Captain Keith Sescaliba with the Hoover Police Department, and we're here today to provide you with the latest update in the Carlee Russel investigation. Joining me at the podium today will be Police Chief Nick Durzis, followed by Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall. Chief Durzis will make a prepared statement. After Chief Durzis' statement is over with, Attorney General Marshall will also offer a few comments. Once that is completed, both gentlemen will return to the podium, and you guys will have an opportunity to ask questions. With that, I will turn it over to Chief Durzis.
Thank you, Captain.
There you go. There he is.
Earlier today, Hoover Police detectives obtained warrants for the arrest of Carlee Russel through the Hoover Municipal Court for her actions related to faking her kidnapping and subsequently making false statements to detectives as they investigated this case.
This dude is so
Her
mad.
decisions that night created panic and alarm for the citizens of our city
Calamity Jane,
and even
thank
across
you.
the nation, as the concern grew that a kidnapper was on the loose using a small child as bait. Numerous law enforcement agencies, both local and federal, began working tirelessly not only to bring Carlee home to her family, but locate a kidnapper that we know now never existed. Many private citizens volunteered their time and energy into looking for a potential kidnapping victim that we know now was never in any danger. This story opened wounds for families whose loved ones really were victims of kidnappings, some of which even helped organize searches in hopes they could find Carlee's alive so her family would not experience the pain and suffering that they felt when their loved ones never returned home. As we know, actions can have consequences, and that's why we're here today. This afternoon, Carlee Russel, with the assistance of her attorney, turned herself into the Hoover City Jail, where she was arrested for the following charges: false reporting to law enforcement authorities, Class A misdemeanor, $1,000 bond; falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond. Each of these charges carry up to a year in jail and potential fine of $6,000 upon conviction. Ms. Russell was released from jail after posting bond. We initially presented this case to District Attorney Lanice Washington, who agreed to handle prosecution through district court. After consulting with the Circuit Court of Jefferson County Bessemer Division, the case was referred back to municipal court for charging because the only applicable charges were misdemeanors. Judging from the amount of phone calls and emails that we've received from people all over the country, I know many are shocked and appalled that Ms. Russell is only being charged with 2 misdemeanors, despite all the panic and disruption her actions caused. Let me assure you, I too share the same frustration, but existing laws only allow the charges that were filed to be filed. I can tell you that I will be contacting our state legislatures on behalf of law enforcement in Montgomery and asking them to look at this law applied to these facts and urge them to add an enhancement to current legislation when somebody falsely reports kidnapping or another violent crime.
Hell yeah.
Because of the attention this case has garnered, we've requested Attorney General Steve Marshall's office adopt this case, and they've agreed to do so. The Hoover Police Department wants to thank everyone that assisted us from the beginning and continues to assist us in this case as we work its way through the criminal justice system. Joining me at the podium today is State of Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall.
Thank you, Chief. Let me begin by commending Hoover Police Department Chief Burgess for his leadership in this investigation. Obviously, this captured many's attention as a result of not only the allegations themselves, but also the concern about a possible victim and being able to return her home. The work that was done by the Hoover Police Department was monumental in its lift, and the results of that work you are seeing come to fruition today with the charges that have been levied. I also want to commend the many other men and women of both state and federal law enforcement for their work collaboratively with the Hoover Police Department in assisting in this investigation. Chief, appreciate the opportunity to be able to partner with you in this prosecution. We will dedicate a team to be able to help the city of Hoover in handling these 2 individual charges and look forward to bringing this case to fruition. One thing I would add is that we don't see this as a victimless crime. There are significant hours spent, resources expended as a result of this investigation. And not only that, but the many men and women who are civilians that wore those yellow vests on a hot afternoon and evening looking for someone they thought was abducted, trying to be of assistance. We intend to fully prosecute this case and look forward to working with the Hoover Police Department moving forward. We also would tell you that we will continue to monitor this investigation to determine whether or not there are any additional charges that need to be brought, and we'll evaluate those as the facts are presented.
Thank you. All right, at this time, we'll open the floor to questions. If you'll please raise your hand and identify yourself and your affiliation when I call on you.
Yeah, David Lamb, CBS 42. This question for Mr. Attorney General. What is it about this case that made it rise to the level to where it was a case that you wanted to take on?
We handle cases across the state. We have jurisdiction throughout for both misdemeanors and felonies. And when Chief Burgess asked for our assistance, we were more than happy to be able to assist.
Is it common for you all to be involved in misdemeanors like a case like this?
It's not uncommon.
Right here.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610, 100.1 FM, Summit Media. Chief, this question is for you.
Yes.
What time was Carlee arrested today with her attorney, and has she made bail?
She has. She was processed in our facility within the past hour.
Do you expect any charges to be forthcoming with her parents, or is this just all on Carlee at this point?
At this point, and again, I think anything is, all as the Attorney General said, their team will also be searching through our files, and we'll find out what they say.
Carol.
Carol Robinson with AL.com. Have you, since we spoke last in the press conference, been able to retrace where she was during the 49 hours she was missing, and have you determined if she was with anyone else during that time?
We have not found anything out on either one of your 2 questions.
Right here.
Valerie Bell, ABC 3340 News. Has there been any decision about a possible civil suit against Carlee and or her family? Also, what impact would this have on Hoover Police Department filing a suit have on the criminal case as well?
Yeah, we have not discussed that. Of course, we talked about the hours of overtime and all the significant resources that we used. And we'll certainly be talking to the Attorney General's office about possibly getting some of those funds returned to us.
Lisa Crane, WBTN 13. In an earlier press conference, you outlined some items she had taken from her employer. Any potential theft charges for that?
Those would have taken place in another jurisdiction, so we would not have charges ourselves.
Ashlee Robinson, WBRC. Chief, do you mind repeating those charges and fines one more time for us?
Sure.
I'm glad she asked that because I'd like to hear him again too.
False reporting to law enforcement authorities, Class A misdemeanor with $1,000 bond. Falsely reporting an incident, a Class A misdemeanor with a $1,000 bond.
What? Yeah, why
Steve, I
not
know you
theft?
mentioned this,
She stole
the
from her
last
job.
time we
Why
were
not
here.
theft?
Just wondering if you have any update on an idea of the cost that the Hoover Police Department expended in those 48, 49 hours Carlee Russell was missing. And one final question, do you at this point have any more information if Carlee Russell acted alone or anyone helped her?
Yeah, we have not finished, obviously, the 49 hours. We've been certainly busy since her return, so I still don't have a total on that. And we don't have any idea where Carlee Russell was for 49 hours.
Right here.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610. Chief, let me ask you this. Going forward, there's been a lot of concern in the community as per young Black and brown females being reported missing.
Oh my God.
Would Hoover and other agencies have the same fervor going forward as they did with the case with Carlee Russell?
Absolutely. This, as I said initially, our focus was bringing Carlee home when she got home. And then our focus has been to find out if there was a kidnapping. We find out there's not. We work every case like all of the law enforcement does. So I don't have any concern anywhere that would be an issue.
And can I echo what Chief said? I've been in law enforcement for 27 years.
Yes, sir.
Law enforcement throughout this state. I've never seen anybody interested in the color of your skin in investigating a criminal case. And I expect, regardless of your gender, your race, when that report is filed, that Alabama law enforcement is going to do its job.
Valerie Bell, ABC 30.
There you go.
What was her emotional state when she arrived to the jail today? And is she seeking any help at this point in time?
I was not there, so I really can't tell you exactly. And I really don't know anything else.
All right, last question.
Ashlee Robinson, WBRC. Chief, what are next steps after this? What is going to happen next?
Well, right now, the Attorney General's office attorneys will start dealing with our detectives and going through case files and preparing prosecution, I presume.
Thank you guys very much.
Will y'all be releasing a mugshot?
Yes, we will momentarily.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's important.
Breaking news on WFLA.
Real quick, let me just say the race question, the involving race. You got to understand the purpose of asking that question. Now, I mean, it really doesn't matter the purpose of it, but it's all in how we, the public, take that question and the answer. Because it's a good thing that he asked that, because what that does is give them the opportunity to shut down the race card. Does that make sense, guys? So, instead of it being the elephant in the room, but except everyone's talking about it, we need to make sure, they were just making sure that that's shut down and out of the question. So I'm glad that reporter actually asked that. Otherwise, there would be way more speculation and making it about race, and that really helped minimize that. So I'm glad that question was asked, and I'm glad it was answered.
I think it's pretty fair to say that a lot of our commenters are going to agree with almost every word, if not every word, of what Chief Dervis had to say there at the press conference with the Hoover Police Department. Perhaps one of the most interesting parts of this press conference that I circled here in my notes is the police chief indicating that he is going to be communicating with legislators in Alabama about changing the law potentially to ensure that there are to ensure that they're doing everything they can to discourage this type of behavior. In essence, lying to law enforcement, making up a story, and wasting all of these resources on an investigation that should have never taken place. That, to me, was really highlights the frustration here from the Hoover Police Department, that not only are they proceeding with filing charges, but they want to change the law in Alabama after the Carlee Russel investigation to, again, make sure that similar acts don't occur in the future. The charges would come with a maximum penalty of a year behind bars, whether or not that is downgraded to either probation or community service or whatever it might be. It all depends on whether or not she pleads guilty, not guilty, and how the legal process will play out, whether or not there will be a plea deal that is reached. And
there probably will.
We have the knowledge, of course, that Carlee Russel provided the statement where she admitted to wrongdoing. You would think that her attorney is going to, at the very minimum, explore reaching a deal if provided with the opportunity for a deal with the district attorney's office. But we do not know if that is going to be taking place in the weeks and months ahead. Carlee Russel did turn herself in, and she was released on bail. So she was booked. I have been looking on the website, waiting for a mugshot. I have not yet seen a mugshot. Let's see if anyone else has, any of the other reporters that I follow, if they have a mugshot yet. Because, look, if you are booked and processed, you get a mugshot. That's just how it goes. And we haven't seen Carlee Russel at all. We haven't seen her outside of these pictures. We have not.
And we
seen
still
her
don't
since
know
this
where she
entire
was.
ordeal began. So this would be our first look at Carlee Russel since this all unfolded.
Yeah, I mean,
from a missing persons investigation to the hoax heard around the world, if you will. I have not yet seen a mugshot. You did hear, I'm very appreciative to the reporter at the end of the press conference who asked, will a mugshot be posted? They did say yes. It would be very surprising if they didn't. It's standard for anyone who's booked in charge to have their mugshot released to the public. That's pretty much standard protocol any way you look at it. So I'm grateful that they clarified, and they did say it was going to be released shortly, but that has not yet been released. The booking occurring in the last hour or so. We're live on WFLA.com. We're live on the WFLA app. We're live on Facebook Live and YouTube Live as well. JB here with you in the Stream Center, and we'll continue to process this as far as your reaction and talk about what is going to be happening going forward. Let's go to the comment section as we wait for the mugshot to be posted. And people, of course, it's going to be public record, so people will have the opportunity.
Now, real quick, because I saw some comments earlier. Some were asking, well, why weren't the parents charged? The parents, there's no evidence that the parents had anything to do with covering it up that I know of. As far as we know, they were just being parents and being supportive. They thought their child was kidnapped. They believed their child when she came home and gave this ridiculous story. Being an enabler of your child and turning a blind eye to whether or not she could be a liar or not, that's not a crime. So, it's not really fair to start throwing stones at the parents based on, right, Cherry, that's what I'm saying. They were enabling her shit, but it's not a crime. It's not illegal. We got to stick to what the law is here, folks. So let's just, we got to be careful. The
reporters in the room asked again, where was Carlee? Have investigators, now we have charges filed, have they determined where she went when she vanished off the side of the interstate that night? Was she hiding out in the woods? Did she go somewhere? There was Google searches for a bus ticket to Nashville. I think it's fair to say, it's just fair to say that if she had purchased a bus ticket and had made it all the way up to Nashville, pretty fair to say that investigators likely at this stage would have found out about it. It's more likely that she stayed local, but it has to be stated that was something that was in her Google search history, according to investigators.
JB said, was she at the movies?
Let's see here.
Oh, I love it. Did she go to the movies?
Yeah, my team is getting a hold of me. We're all, waiting for this mugshot to be released when it's posted publicly. I don't have any back channels, and nor should anyone. When it's posted as public record, it should be available to every one of us at the same time. So as of right now, there is no
mugshot yet, but there will be.
So yes,
Barbie hadn't come out. Did Barbie come out yet?
We can look her mugshot up, but it hasn't been posted yet. Again, she was just processed in the last hour or so. Again, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. No matter where you're watching from right now, you can comment along. In fact, let me reset. Yeah, so Facebook comments are pumping in. YouTube Live comments are pumping in as well.
I mean, but more charges for what, dude? You know what I mean? Like, you're saying you hope that more charges will come. I mean, what are they going to charge her with? They charged her with everything they could. Guys, you got to keep in mind, like, I get that we're all pissed off. And yes, you already posted about the 11-year-old, and we're all aware, and I appreciate you informing the chat of that. And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm just making the point that what are we supposed to do here? What else can be done? You guys got to understand the law is the law, man. You know, I mean, write your congressman if you want. if you feel like there should be more laws, and that snazzy, well-dressed detective, he stated that they were going to do what they can to make more laws because, the public interest in missing persons is a lot greater these days than it used to be. And to use that to get some sort of social media notoriety or whatever the hell her motive was for all of this. I mean, whatever that was, laws should be placed, and I agree, laws should be placed to deter people from doing this. And what happened to her is not really enough, because here's the thing, she wins. Here's the reality of where we're at right now, folks, because now she's out of jail. She's probably not going to see any jail time whatsoever. Now, it's going to be up to the judge, but she's probably not going to see any jail time whatsoever. The charges are just too minor. They're misdemeanor charges. And if she doesn't have a record, I mean, why are they going to lock her up? And that's going to cause a whole shitstorm. The public's going to go nuts. They're going to be divided on this because that's just the climate of the way things are today. And a judge is probably just going to be like, it's not worth it, So now, right, exactly, Caleb. She got what she was trying to get. Now she's got all this attention. Everyone's talking about her. This is what she wanted. Negative attention, positive attention, doesn't matter. But she's going to have a whole network of people who don't give a shit about facts, who don't give a shit about missing people, really. And she's going to have this whole little section of people that are going to support her. And there she gets her social media notoriety that she was looking for. This is just a fact. And before you start jumping to conclusions, it has nothing to do with race. It just is. Everybody's going to give excuses for her. Well, mental health and blah, blah, blah. And we support you. We love you, Carlee. Blah, 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 blah. That's all going to happen from all different types of races. So, like I said, don't turn this into, blacks versus whites. It's not going to be like that. That has nothing to do with anything. What I'm saying is this, she's getting the attention that she wants. She wins because she didn't actually, she didn't commit a violent crime. The laws are placed to focus on violent crimes. There's too many violent offenders in jail, and jails are overcrowded, prisons are overcrowded, and they're just not going to stick somebody in jail for filing a false report for lying. You don't do heavy prison time for lying. You know, that's just the reality of things. Whether we like it or not, it's just the reality of things. So, I mean, it just depends on whether or not it's going to be worth it to her to get the negativity that's going to come with the support. And she's going to get more negativity than support. But make no mistake, she's still going to get support.
As someone who discusses mental health on live streams and quite a bit, you have to demonstrate that. Just like if you had a broken leg, you need to demonstrate that you have a mental health issue. Just because mental health isn't seen like a broken leg, you can't visibly see a mental health issue unless it's severe, doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be proven. It still has to be proven,
right,
that you did suffer from. And of course, all right, so if she did have a mental health episode, then she will have to be evaluated. A psychologist, a psychiatrist will have to examine her and interview her, and it'll have to be demonstrated.
And I bet you anything that's going to happen. She's going to get evaluated, and then, you know, someone like this who's just trying to get attention is going to come off like she has mental health issues. Most likely. Someone who seeks attention to this level is most likely going to come off and try to be diagnosed with something so that she comes out to be the victim in this whole thing. A victim of mental health and a victim of society and a lack of mental health awareness. You know, it's what's going to happen. People, just prepare yourselves for it, you know, but you know, we gotta prepare ourselves for the reality of how things just are. You know, I mean, I'm actually glad that we don't live in a society where you lock someone up and throw away the key because they lied to the cops. That's not, you know what I mean? This is America, man. You know, punishment. We live in a country where we strive to where the punishment is going to fit the crime. The punishment's not going to fit the crime if she gets locked up for an extended period of time. It's just the way that is, man. I mean, $200 for bail, peanuts. And then she's going to get a court date, and then they're going to say first offense, charges dropped. First, not even charges drops, but time served. Most likely. Exactly. Great point, Penny, for your thoughts. They'd have to build a new jail on every street corner if they locked up people for lying. I don't want to live in a country where they lock people up just for lying. You know? Right. And it takes up more resources that could be directed towards people who are actually missing. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, fucking just throw her to the side, forget about her, focus on the real missing people. That's my opinion. You know, I'm not that angry about it. Like, honestly, like, I'm angry about it. Don't get me wrong. I'm pissed off because I'm part of a community that really cares about what do you mean BHB would still be in jail? It's what? No, she wouldn't. All right, let me address that real quick. How can you say that BHB would still be in jail when BHB never did any jail time for the 40 God knows how many charges that she has on her record? never once did jail time. So don't sit here and say BHB would still be in jail. That's just plain not true. The evidence dictates it's, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Like if we threw people in jail for being a liar, then BHB would be in jail. Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. I got you. I'm wrong sometimes. I misunderstand things sometimes. Texas, Troy, nobody. Nobody.
A lot of it comes down to social media because people can band together and
no, it wasn't a
live
bad
streams are a
joke.
perfect
Actually, I just
example of that.
misunderstood it.
If social media can be used as a tool to help in missing person situations, of course we're going to use it. Of course we're going to spread the word. But sometimes missing person cases just reach a stratosphere that it just becomes the story that everyone's talking about because people want answers to the unanswered questions. It happened with Gabby Petito. It happened, of course, with Carlee, not to be mixed up with Carlee Russell. It happened with other missing persons cases. My goodness, the Harmony Montgomery, who was missing for a little girl missing for 2 years before anyone knew about it.
Yeah.
So missing persons cases sometimes reach a level where it goes beyond a local news market. It goes beyond, the city or state level.
Appreciate
people across the country or around the world are talking about it. That happened with Gabby Petito, and it happened with Carlee Russell. The difference is that one was genuinely missing, and the other admitted that it was all made up. But as we compare a missing white girl to a missing black girl, one should not just, it has nothing to, look, it's very important that we
careful,
keep an
JB.
open mind to
Careful,
missing persons
JB. You
cases.
can see he's
As
like,
the
let me,
Alabama
how
Police
do I
Department
word
said,
this?
regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of background, there's so many factors that come into play. But the reason that Gabby Petito got this is as someone who covered that story, maybe more, just about as much as any reporter out there. The reason that the Gabby Petito story got so much coverage is because there was this massive unanswered question as to Gabby's whereabouts and whether or not she was alive. And it applied to Carlee Russell here as well. Massive unanswered questions. What happened to Carlee? How did she vanish? Who abducted her? We now know the abduction never took place, but who abducted her? And what happened to the toddler? When an unanswered question can really stick in someone's mind, and you might see it on Facebook, or you might see it on YouTube, you might see it on Twitter or Instagram, your social media platform of choice, but then you'll find yourselves later that question will still stick in your head. What happened to Gabby Petito on that cross-country road trip? What happened to Carlee Russell on the side of Interstate 459? But again, it comes back to a lot of this. It should not come down to race, gender, or if a missing person is a missing person. And hopefully we can spread missing persons cases. But to tell you the truth, here on this live stream, we can't get to them all. It's overwhelming. Just in the state of Florida, thousands upon thousands of missing persons cases and thousands upon thousands of families that don't have answers. Multiply that by 50 states, and you have all of these missing people that we just don't have those same answers. And so I can only express hope as a reporter and as a human being that missing persons cases get treated equally. But sometimes those unanswered questions stick in someone's mind, and before you know it, those cases just elevate to a level that people are sharing them more and distributing them more. And that happened with Gabby Petito. That happened with Carlee Russell. That happened with Carlee, Harmony Montgomery. and many others. And then we've covered cases on live stream that don't get the same amount of attention. Talking about, Tanya Whip here in the Tampa Bay area. Google her name, share her name out. I've tried to, Justin Shecker's done some great reporting here at WFLA for us. But there are a lot of missing persons cases that don't get the Gabby Petito, Carlee Russell level of attention. And to see what happened with Carlee Russell and to think of all the families that did not get that level of exposure when it might have helped is, my goodness, it makes your heart sink. Yeah. But did Carlee Russell do this for fame?
Totally.
Social media attention?
Totally.
Only Carlee Russell really knows.
Agreed, but come on.
Still no mugshot, right? Checking here. God, I can't get used to Twitter being X. I just can't. Sorry, Elon. That's going to take a long time for me to just say I'm going to x.com to search for stuff. Just weird.
See, I try to, one of the things that I really focus on is gratitude. I try to find things to be grateful for in even things that suck, right? And what I find to be grateful for in this entire situation is that there was a lot of tension, a lot of attention on this. Even though this turned out to be a hoax, I'm glad that this hoax got a lot of attention so that we're aware that this does happen from time to time. And if we're smart and if we're logical people, we're not going to sit here and assume that, a missing person is pulling off a hoax. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen. Not if we're smart people, because look at what happened here. A lot of people thought this was a hoax before it was proven. There was a lot of really objective true crime aficionados on this platform who were like, I don't know, man. I was on panel with I'm really glad that I was on this panel. I was on panel with Down the Rabbit Hole News on her channel. It was her, me, and Ikadmel, and another gentleman jumped on, and he was angry, and he thought, what you guys are doing is wrong, because we were all questioning everything. But I don't think that this gentleman was much of a true crime follower. I don't think he does a whole lot of investigating. I think he was just pissed off on the state that our society is in right now, and he has every right to feel that way. He has every reason to feel that way. But the thing is there's a whole community that's focused on the facts, and there were just so many things that did not add up. There were just so many things that was just this. No, wait a minute. There's no baby. No baby went reported missing. Nobody on the side of the road saw a baby or reported a baby being on the road. Why take the Cheez-Its that she was seen buying, the Cheez-Its and the granola that she was seen buying, and leave her phone and wig and her purse behind? Why leave these things behind and take the Cheez-Its and the granola? That doesn't make sense. There were just a lot of little red flags. And then law enforcement for sure. And this was what was dangerous, is that gentleman that was on panel with us still stuck to, and this is sad, he stuck to, not believing law enforcement. He's like, you guys are buying into this shit, blah, blah, blah. They have every reason to lie and save face because they don't even want to go out and look for her. They don't want to conduct an investigation. And he has a right to feel that way. Now, it's a little far-fetched as far as how we're looking at this and how we were looking at this case. But I can understand someone who doesn't follow true crime and who has been beaten down by the injustices in our society to feel like cops don't give a fuck. And they're going to lie to save face, because it does happen. It absolutely does happen. Amber Eyes, exactly. He was very passionate, but a little naive. I believe he was a little naive. But what he was naive, now I want to be clear, because that's too general. I believe that he was naive to the missing person problem that we have in this country, but I don't believe that he was naive to the lack of justice that takes place in certain parts of this country. I don't believe that he was naive to that at all. And he had every right to feel the way that he did. And that's a problem. That's a problem. And until we all start to use common sense and start judging people based on the behaviors and evidence that they give us, versus their ethnicity, versus their religion, versus their gender. Until we stop doing that, we're gonna have these problems. We're just gonna always have these problems, and it's going to cost people justice. Because make no mistake, the public interest lights a fire under law enforcement's ass. Law enforcement is going to do a better job if the people are demanding justice. Guaranteed. That is why we all get together and we, that happened later, little chickadee, but you're right. That's why it's important for us as citizens to demand that things get done and that justice is served for anyone, because that person could be any of us. And just because this was a hoax, does that mean that law enforcement should not do the best they can to get to the bottom of the truth? Because that's exactly what they did. But they did it swiftly, not just because they're experienced law enforcement officers, but also because we, the public, demanded that it get done. So it's real important, no matter what we think, it's real important that we just demand that law enforcement do their job. But the other side of that coin is you got to let law enforcement do their job. You're not a detective. I'm not a detective. You're not an investigator. I'm not an investigator. You're not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. Let the professionals who handle these things do them. But always make sure that they are doing their jobs. They technically work for us. We are the taxpayers. We are the citizens. Their job is to protect and serve us. And if we demand that they do a thorough investigation, then we need to demand that they do a thorough investigation. But we also have to trust that they're the professionals. You know what I mean? Like, if you hire somebody to fix your washing machine because you don't know how to do it, well, you want to make sure that they're going to do a thorough job and your washing machine works, right? It's within the ballpark of the same thing. That's it. I mean, but don't hire the washing machine, the Maytag guy, to fix your washing machine and then sit there over his shoulder and tell him that he's doing his job wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, and Texas Troy 78, as a former law enforcement police member, you say, as a former military police member And thank you for your service, by the way. I feel law enforcement gets a bad rap either which way you cut it. It's tough out there putting your life and sanity on the line. Shout out to the blue. And I totally agree that. I totally agree with that. Because sitting there and trashing law enforcement and saying they're all bad and they've always got an agenda and they're always trying to hurt this class of people versus this class, that's not productive. That's just not productive. You know, sitting there talking about defund the police, get rid of cops, fuck the cops. That's, I mean, dude, those same people, especially the entitled mama's boys that just want to be social justice warriors and just trash cops because they're dickheads. Those same people that want to throw bricks through a window and put on a mask and a hoodie, those same people, guess who they're going to call when somebody rear-ends them and breaks their tailpipe because they're driving mommy's car and they have to answer to mommy because they were driving mommy's car and somebody rear-ends them. Who are they going to call so that they can get the insurance paid on it? Because you're not going to get your insurance paid on it unless you file a police report. Who are you going to call when somebody breaks into your house? Who are you going to call when somebody breaks into your car? I mean, so it's just the state that this country's in right now is just asinine, man. It's just so crazy. Like, we've become a nation of weaklings. I talked a little bit about this last night. We have become a nation of weaklings, a nation of entitled, spoiled, soft bitches. That is a fact. And instead of being concerned about preserving our way of life that is designed for everybody, no matter what you believe in, no matter whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, or otherwise, we are in a state of weakness because we are so busy pointing fingers at each other over bullshit that just doesn't even fucking matter. And while we're pointing fingers at each other, focused on, you know, being popular and getting likes on our social media pages, other countries are looking at us doing this. Countries that hate us, countries that are waiting for us to be weak. That is happening, people. That is happening. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to run away from that fact or not. And I was mentioning last night, there's 3 countries, Russia, South Korea, China, right now that we got to worry about. And we are right now in a state, in my opinion, too weak to fight one of them. What if 2 of them, much less 3 of them, decide to band together and invade us? We're fucked. What are you going to do? Bitch at them to death? It's not going to, I mean, or yeah, North Korea. I said South Korea. I'm stupid. Sorry. North Korea. You're right. I mean, what are we going to do? Are we going to complain them to death? It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. To sit here and be like, we're the strongest country in the world. We used to be. We used to be. It's not that way now, man. It's not that way now. Because words hurt. Fucking grow up. Fucking grow up. Yes, Cachette, she has been charged. She has been charged, but she's been charged with a bunch of misdemeanors. I'm not even going to go over them. They don't matter. She's not going to do any jail time. She's out on bail. You know, It's just, dude. Exactly. They're training for battle. Do you know that drill sergeants in our country, in our military, have to take sensitivity training? You're not allowed to yell and cuss to train somebody. I love that shit. That's fucking hilarious to me. It's tragically hilarious. Because God forbid a drill sergeant hurts your feelings while training you to defend yourself and defend your country against people that don't give a fuck what you feel or think. They're just going to kill you. But we got to watch your feelings. That's crazy. That's the state that this country is in right now. Think about that. That is the state that this country is in right now. Whether you like it or not, that's the truth. I mean, it's incredible. Sensitivity training? Really? Like, drill sergeants aren't allowed to yell at you and call you a pussy anymore. They're not allowed. Because it hurts your feelings. That's what our military's like right now. That's what the young generation that has joined the military. They're lazy. Generally, not everybody, but they're lazy and they're entitled. This is the young generation. Lazy and entitled. And so all some North Korean has to do is get in someone's face, get in a soldier's face and call him an F word and make him cry. And that's it. I mean, that's the message it sends. It's crazy. Fucking crazy. Twilight Zone shit. Yeah, and look at our leader. And it's either, it's either you get Biden who can't fucking talk, can't remember the last minute that just passed, or you get the guy who thinks it's okay to grab women by the pussy. I mean, and I know it's uncomfortable for me to go in this direction, blah, 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 but I've decided I'm just not going to hold back and I just don't give a fuck. Don't talk about that stuff. I'm not get the fuck out of my face. Talk about whatever the fuck I want. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. But I will leave you with this. The only way that you're going to get a strong leader in office is if you vote for somebody that you believe in. Because right now, we just want to vote for the person who isn't the guy that we don't like. And that is a sad, sad thing. I encourage you to vote and exercise your right to vote. But find somebody that you really believe in. We are a country full of people who just want to complain, bitch and moan. That is where we're at. And that has made us weak. Find a candidate that you believe in, a true leader that you believe in. Guys, I'm going to wrap this up. There you have it. Was justice served in the Carlee Russel case? I mean, as much as the law allows, you know, as much as the law allows, sure. But, oh, wait, is there a mugshot? Hold on. Let's see if there's that mugshot. There it is. Yeah. All right. Before I go, we'll show the mugshot. And she's smiling in it, proud of herself. Look at that bullshit.
So let's save this.
What an asshole.
Welcome to live streaming, folks. We're going to load it, or fancy news word would be ingest it.
Look at that.
And it's right there. And then we can put away this tweet by clicking on that button. And then we come out and voila. The very first picture of Carlee Russell since she admitted to deceiving law enforcement by making up the story that she saw a toddler on the side of I-459 and then followed by vanishing for 49 hours as well. This is the first picture that we are seeing of her after turning herself in on 2 misdemeanor charges.
She made sure to get her hair did. Look at that.
She is out on bail.
Totally, Leo.
And again,
totally.
Questions persist. In the end, it's really up to you if the questions are how relevant they are at this stage. It's up to each one of you to determine for yourselves why she did it. Does it matter to you? Some people are going to say, I don't care.
Totally. What's up, Dietz?
Fault anyone for
where you been? It's been a minute, Dietz.
Some people are going to say, I don't care about why she did it. She did it, and we need to be talking about other missing persons cases.
Totally.
There are people that are going to feel that way.
Absolutely, JB.
People who are going to say, I don't care what she did. In a closet, of a gas station somewhere or something like that, wherever she was. Now, it could be a completely different ballgame if she was, if she was staying with somebody, but because then you're talking about additional criminal implication. But
I mean, that is the face.
Here's her mugshot.
That is the face of someone seeking social media fame. Right there. There you go. Right on. You deserve it. You're awesome. Shit has been crazy. I wish I could do that right now. I really do. Shit has been crazy in these streets, man. So glad you're back, though. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. I'm going to wrap this up. Gotta go. Gotta go exercise my Second Amendment rights. The right to bear arms at the gym. Anyways, guys, I love you. We will do this again very soon, my friends.